Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Math 2511 online lecture again. So today we will move on to another aspect about the interest rate, which is what we call interest rate sensitivity. Okay, now and then to motivate this concept, so let us consider the case. So we have an investor who has bought a bond for his investment. Okay, now then of course here because the bond will become part of his portfolio. Okay, then of course his profit and gain from his investment will depends on his bond price. Okay, and then as we know, so the bond price is equal to what? Equal to the present value of all the future cash flow, right? And then as we know, so the present value will be driven by the interest rate. Okay, or more precisely will be what the yield rate of the bond. Okay, then of course let's say if the yield rate is getting higher, then of course the bond price will decrease, right? Definitely his portfolio will suffer. On the other hand, if the interest rate decrease and the bond price increase, definitely his bond will become more valuable. Alright, so here because the bond value definitely will affect the outcome of his investment. Therefore, we would like to see. So let's say if he is holding a bond, so how does the bond price change with respect to the interest rate? And then in this session, so we will try to develop some indicator to measure so how does this bond price change with respect to the interest rate. So here then we will introduce two common indicators. One is what we call the duration. Okay, and then another one is convexity. Okay, and then we will try to see so how do we use them to achieve our goal. Okay, now so here then let us start with the duration. Okay, now so and to motivate this concept. Okay, so let us just consider this example. Okay, now and then here let's suppose I got a financial instrument. Okay, for example bond. And then which will generate a series of payment in future. Okay, so let's say C1, C2, Cn. Okay, which are available to the investor at time T1, T2 up to Tn respectively. Okay, so of course you can imagine this as a kind of bond. Okay, so which this C1, C2, Cn will be your coupon and your redemption value. Okay, now then of course given this cash flow of the asset, then you can talk about the price of the asset, right? And then let's say if this cash flow is fixed, okay, and then we also let the I to be my yield rate of this asset. Okay, then I can easily talk about the asset price, right, which is equal to what? Just the present value of this C1, C2, Cn. Okay, and then you calculate this present value based on this yield rate. Okay, so which is what you can denote it as a function of I. Okay, now and here remember our goal is so we want to measure how does this asset price change with respect to the yield rate, right? Then mathematically, then what are the weapons that you can consider? Then of course the easiest way is you can consider the derivative, right? Isn't it? Okay, so the derivative with respect to I, because this one will telling you how does the bond price change when there is a unit change in the yield rate, right? Okay, then of course by considering this, then you will have a rough picture to know, okay, how does the bond price change with respect to the yield rate, isn't it? Okay, now but of course here of course mathematically definitely this approach is feasible, but just because your asset consists of several cash flow, so the formula of the PI can be complicated. Okay, so as a result, so the derivative of this price function will be also complicated. So in order to develop a easy formula, okay, to measure this price change, okay, then we will try to develop some additional notation to help us. Okay, so here to facilitate the analysis, so we will try to develop the concept what we call Macaulay duration. Okay, so here to define that, so we consider an asset that will generate this set of the cash flow. Okay, and then we will define this Macaulay duration. Okay, as a weighted average of the payment time at which the cash flow happen. Okay, or maybe more precisely, so this Macaulay duration is just the average time required to receive this and cash flow. Okay, and then mathematically, so we define this Macaulay duration as well. Okay, so here for each cash flow, okay, so let's say this is for the CK. Okay, so you multiply the payment time, okay, because you receive that at time TK, right? Okay, by the sum weight, okay, so which is based on the values of that cash flow. Okay, and here, okay, so this way is just defined as well the present value of this particular cash flow divided by the total present value of all cash flow. Okay, and then when we try to calculate this payment time, so we multiply this payment time by this rate. Okay, and this is actually a reasonable measure because if the cash flow is significant, then definitely the investor will put more emphasis on that cash flow. But of course, if that cash flow has the payment amount is very, very small, okay, for example, very close to zero, definitely no one care about that. Then that means you will not put too much weight on that. Okay, so here, okay, then this is how do we come up this Macaulay duration, just the weighted average of the payment time, okay, of all this cash flow. Okay, and then here, so you just rearrange that. Okay, then this will be the formula for the Macaulay duration. Okay, and here this present value. Okay, let's say in our cases, so if you have the yield weight of this asset, then this present value will be evaluated based on this yield weight. Okay, and this will be our Macaulay duration. Okay, now but of course some of you may say that, so here this Macaulay duration is just defined as the time that you need to receive all the cash flow. So apparently it has nothing to do with our objective. Okay, but I will say later on. Okay, so we will try to show mathematically that actually this Macaulay duration will play an important role to study this goal. So actually using this Macaulay duration, so you can develop a very elegant formula to measure this price change. Okay, so if you want to have a preview on that, so you can go to page 39. Okay, so in fact we are able to show, so actually using the Macaulay duration, okay, so then you can express the price change of the asset with respect to the interest rate using this Macaulay duration. Okay, so you can use the Macaulay duration to develop this very elegant formula. Okay, so that's why this Macaulay duration is important. Okay, but of course I would say by nature, so this Macaulay duration does not conceptually does not reflect how does not really represent how does the bond price change with respect to the yield rate. Okay, now and then here, okay, so then let us try to run through some remark. Okay, now so first of all will be about the unit of this Macaulay duration. Okay, now and then of course as we know, so the Macaulay duration according to the definition is try to measure the average time required to receive the cash flow. Okay, and then here as we know, so the in our cases, so all the time is measured in year. Okay, so because of that, so actually this Macaulay duration will be measured in year. Okay, first thing. Now and then the second remark is, so here in calculating the Macaulay duration, so it involves the present value of the cash flow CK. Okay, now and then here, okay, in our context, so this present value will be calculated based on the interest rate earned by the asset. Okay, because we use the yield weight I to represent the cash function, right? Okay, so that here then we will use the yield weight of the asset to calculate this present value. Okay, now and then the third case is just as the special formula of the Macaulay duration under some special cases. Okay, so in particular, so in general, of course, this Macaulay duration can be applied to any asset with very different pattern of a cash flow. Okay, and then here in our context, so for example, if you consider the bond, so of course our cash flow will have some special pattern in the sense that it has what? It has regular payment, right? Okay, then you make at time t, 2t, 3t up to nt respectively. Okay, then in that cases, so it may be possible for you to get a simplified formula for the Macaulay duration. Okay, so to facilitate the analysis, so let's assume that the effective yield weight over the payment period is I. Okay, so in that cases, then your accumulation function will be AKT equal to 1 plus I to the power K. Okay, so in that cases, okay, so then this present value can be written. So given this assumption, so then this Macaulay duration can be expressed as follows. Okay, so here under this model assumption, so the present value of the CK is just equal to the CK divided by your accumulation function. Okay, and then your accumulation function is equal to that, right? So that you have this. Okay, and then after you put into this, okay, so then this will be what you get. Okay, so here then we get a formula for the Macaulay duration under these special cases, which the payment are made periodically. Okay, of course this formula can also be further simplified. So if your C1, C2, C3, Cn has some special pattern, for example, level payment or maybe level payment for just like the bond. Okay. Anyway, okay, so we will discuss that later. Now, and then the fourth remark will be about another special case of the Macaulay duration. Okay, so in particular here, let's suppose if your asset is asset which only generate a single cash flow at some future time t. Okay, so for example, CO coupon bond. Okay, so in that cases, okay, then your Macaulay duration will be what? Just equal, by definition, will be just equal to the t, okay, times the present value of this c divided by the present value c. Okay, according to the definition. And then here you will find that the Macaulay duration will be exactly equal to t. Okay, so which is the time that you receive this payment c. Personally, again, not surprising, right? Because here, because we only have one single payment for this asset, then of course at the time that you need to receive all the cash flow will be what? Just equal to t. Okay, so that the Macaulay duration should be equal to t as well. Okay, now so here then this is the remark of this Macaulay duration. Okay, now and then here the next thing that we are going to discuss will be some computational issue for calculating your Macaulay duration. Okay, now of course here, given the asset will generate a series of cash flow. Okay, then of course we can try to calculate the Macaulay duration by computing this summation, right? Of course, in general, so computing this summation definitely will be tedious. Okay, unless you have some computer to help you. Okay, now but of course, under some special cases, okay, which you have the level payment. Okay, and the payment is paid regularly. Okay, then let's say if your payment has some special pattern like this, okay, then of course this summation, so we may able to obtain some easy formula, okay, for this summation, or maybe hence the Macaulay duration. Okay, so here then let us try to look at this in a little bit detail. Okay, and then along the way, then we will try to develop some useful formula for that. Okay, now so here then let us try to consider these special cases. Okay, so let's say you got this cash flow, okay, which made the level payment K at time t, 2t, and t respectively. Okay, now and then here then let us try to consider the corresponding Macaulay duration. Okay, and see what is that. Now and then this one will be equal to summation K equal to 1 up to n. Okay, and then you have the time that you receive the cash flow, okay, which is your K cash flow. Okay, and then you compute the present value of this K. Maybe I use the S, okay, don't make that confusing. And here we assume that the effective interest rate over a payment period is I. Okay, so that this is what we have that 1 plus I to the power K, and then divided by summation of S over 1 plus I to the power K, which is your total present value. Okay, and then this one is your present value of S. Okay, now and then here you can try to rewrite your summation a little bit into this form. Okay, now so first of all you can isolate the numerator. Okay, and then for numerator, so then this is what you get. Now so here I take out the S and T because it is a constant in the summation, right? Alright, now then there will be a formula, okay, for the Macaulay duration for this asset with this special cash flow. Okay, now and here in order to compute this summation, so in order to compute this Macaulay duration, so you need to calculate the value of these two summation. One is summation of K, okay, over 1 plus I to the power K. Another one is the summation of S, okay, divided by 1 plus I to the power K. Okay, so how do you use this? How do you compute these two summation? Alright, so in fact these two summation can be computed using the present value of some in unity. Okay, so for example, let's say for the first summation in the numerator, actually, so we do have this formula. Okay, so in fact, so this summation of K divided by 1 plus R to the power K is just equal to the present value of this in unity. Okay, and remember, according to this location, so this one is just what it's just increase in unity, which you have n payment. Okay, and which is paid at t, 2t, and time and t respectively. Okay, and then the first payment is 1, and then the payment will be increased by 1 at each payment day. So that means you have a 1, 2, and then 3, and so on and so forth. Okay, then that would, and then here, so assuming that the effective interest rate is I, okay, over the payment period. So then the present value at time 0 will be exactly equal to this. Okay, and in fact, so this one will be equal to this number. Okay, so I would say not surprising, right? Because I've given this cash flow, so actually the total present value will be just equal to the total present value of this cash flow, so which is equal to summation k equal to 1 up to n, and k divided by 1 plus I to the power k. Okay, so that these two will be essentially the same. Alright, so here, okay, then this is how do you compute the denominator. Okay, so you just try to make use of the present value of the increase in unity. Okay, now, and then how about the denominator then? Okay, so for the denominator, so it will be what? A sum of a constant c divided by 1 plus I to the power k. Okay, so actually this summation is just equal to it's just equal to the present value of this level in unity, which pay C dollar regularly at time t, 2t, and up to nt respectively. And then let's say the I is the EIR over the payment period. So then this will be the present value, right? And remember, using the in unity notation, so actually this present value can also be expressed by this, which is the CA and angle I. Okay, so here, okay, then and then using this, so you can now try to use the present value of the unity to evaluate the value of these two summation, so that you can easily calculate your Macaulay duration. Now then let us take a look on some numerical example and have a very quick practice on the calculation of this Macaulay duration. Okay, so here in this example number 8, so we will try to consider the duration of the straight-term bond. In particular here, so I consider a 8-year coupon bond with the face value 1200 and the redemption value 3050, and then the annual coupon rate is 8% payable quarterly. Okay, and here you are also given the annual effective yield rate of the bond 7.45%. So I want you to calculate the Macaulay duration for this bond. Alright, now so here then how do we get this then? I think of course that the easiest way is you first try to scratch the cash flow diagram of this 8-year bond. Okay, so we have a 8-year bond. Okay, and then 4 coupon per year. Okay, and you have RF, and then redemption value C, 3050. Okay, and then here the RF, okay, is equal to 8% divided by 4. Okay, and then multiplied by the face value. So which is equal to, let's say, 24, right? Okay, now and here then this is the cash flow diagram of your straight-term bond. Okay, now and here to calculate this Macaulay duration. Okay, so remember, so we use the definition. So the Macaulay duration is just equal to the summation k equal to 1 up to t up to n, and then tk, and then present value of ck divided by total present value of the ck, total present value. Okay, and then you can separate them first. Okay. Okay, then to calculate this present value of the CK, okay, so we will first try to calculate the effective yield wage over the coupon payment period, so which I denote it to be I. Okay, so here to get this, so remember that the annual effective yield wage of the bond is 7.45%. Okay, so which means the accumulation function of the bond will be equal to this function, right? Okay, then given this, then you can try to calculate the effective yield wage over the coupon payment period, which is say 3-month period, and then you will get the value, okay, which is equal to 1.8126%. Okay, now then given this, then you can now try to calculate this numerator and denominator carefully. Okay, now so here so remember your Macaulay duration is just equal to this quotient, right? Okay, now and then for the numerator, okay, so then this will be what? This will be just the present value of this cash flow, right? Okay, so which is just equal to what? Your bond price. Okay, and then here remember how do we get the bond price? So you just calculate this present value by dividing your cash flow into two parts. Okay, so remember, so this is your coupon, isn't it? And then this one will be what? Your redemption value. Okay, now and then here because you have a 8-year bond, 4 coupon per year, right? So meaning that the end will be 32, isn't it? Okay, and then here, so then given this, then you can easily calculate your denominator. Okay, now then the next question will be, so how about the numerator then? Now, so for numerator, again, so we will try to do the calculation by separating the coupon payment and also the redemption value. Okay, now so here for the coupon part, okay, so you will receive the coupon at every 3 months, right? Okay, so and then here, okay, so here, okay, then you will receive the coupon, okay, at time K/4. Okay, so that's why you get this K/4 here. Okay, and then given this cash flow, then you try to calculate its present value. Okay, so the numerator is what? Is your RF, and then you divide it by 1% to the power K. Okay, so and then you will get the present value. Alright, and then here you have 32 coupon in total, right? So that you sum up from K equal to 1 up to 32. Okay, so then this is for the coupon part. And then for the redemption value, okay, so then you do the same calculation. So first of all, you receive this payment at time 8. Okay, so that here then the TK will be equal to 8, and then the present value of your C. Okay, so here then this is the part for the redemption value. Okay, now so here then the next step is, so we try to calculate the summation, okay, which is on this one. Okay, now and here in order to calculate this, so first of all you first take out the constant, okay, which is this one, then you take that out, then here, okay, then you will get 24/4, and then summation K from K equal to 1 up to 32, and then K over 1% to the power K. Alright, and then remember, how do you complete this summation? So we use this formula, right? Okay, so remember the summation of this K over 1% to the power K is just the present value of this increase in unity, isn't it? So here then you just put in n equal to 32, I equal to 0.018. Okay, then this is what you get. Okay, so this summation is just equal to this guy. Okay, now and then here once you have all this, then you just punch in the I, and then also use the formula for your increase in unity to calculate this present value. Then after some accounting exercise, so you will find that the Macaulay duration will be equal to 6.15965. Okay, so here then this is just a sample calculation of the Macaulay duration of the bond. Alright, now and then after this example, so let us try to look at some other example. Now, so here in this example 9, so we consider this perpetuity. Okay, which remember perpetuity is the annuity which the payment is made forever. Okay, now and here for this perpetuity, so the payment structure will be as follows. Okay, so first of all, in the first 10 years, so it will pay you $5 at the end of every 6 months. Okay, so that you will got $5 after 6 months, $1 after 1 year, and then okay, and then you will receive this $5 during the first 10 years. Okay, and then after 10 years, so this payment amount will be increased to 10. Okay, and then as usual, you receive the payment every 6 months. Okay, and then you receive it forever. Okay, so here then that will be your perpetuity. Okay, now and here let's assume that so the annual nominal interest rate of this annuity is 6% convertible semi-annually. Okay, then so that means the effective interest rate over 6 months is just equal to 6% divided by 2 equal to 3%. Okay, of course you can always verify that by getting the accumulation function and use the definition of EIR. Okay, so here I just skip that for simplicity. And here what I'm going to do is so we want to compute the Macaulay duration of this perpetuity. Okay, now so here so in order to compute this Macaulay duration, okay, so again, so we just follow the definition, right? So the Macaulay duration equal to the sum of this tk and then the present value of ck divided by total present value of the ck. Okay, now and then here so how would you compute this summation? Okay, so here it should be infinity because we have infinitely many payments, right? Okay, now so here to get this two summation. Okay, so first of all, because our payment consists of 2 parts, isn't it? Okay, so one is $5 in the first 10 years and then $10 after 10 years, right? So here to compute this summation, so we'll try to do the calculation by splitting the payment in these 2 parts. Okay, now so here let us start with the denominator first. Okay, now so for denominator, okay, so which is what the total present value of this annuity. Okay, now so here then you can try to calculate the present value of these 2 annuity, right? Blue and black. Okay, now and here for the blue one, so this will be a standard annuity immediately. Okay, so that the present value will be $5 and then multiply A and then 20. Okay, because you have 20 payment, right? Two payment per year and you have 10-year time horizon, and then angle 3%. Okay, which is your effective interest rate I. Okay, and then that will be the present value of the first annuity, and then for the second annuity, okay, so which pay you $10 forever. Okay, then you get the present value. Remember, so we first get the present value at time 10, isn't it? Now then at time 10, so this is just a standard perpetuity, right? So that's the payment will be, the amount will be 10 times A infinity angle I. Okay, now but of course this is not good enough because this is a present value at time 10, right? Then if you want to get the true present value, then you have to discount it back by dividing it by A10, isn't it? And here in our cases, so A10 will be 1.03 to the power 20. Okay, because here, okay, the effective interest rate over 6-month period is 3%, right? And you have 20 period, so that at time 10, so this accumulation function will grow to 1.03 to the power 20. Okay, so here then that will be, well, how do you get your denominator? Okay, now then how about the numerator then? Now, so for numerator, so basically we try to do the same thing. So we try to compute this summation TK times present value of CK by dividing the cash flow into two parts. Okay, so here let us start with the first part, okay, which the payment is $5. Okay, now so here for the first annuity, so you will receive the payment every 6 months, right? So which you will receive $5, okay, at K over 2, and the K is running from 1 to up to 20, right? Okay, now and then here okay, then you just multiply the K over 2, okay, the time that you receive this K cash flow by the present value. Okay, so this will be the present value of the $5. Alright, and then here then you just try to take the summation from K equal to up to 20, because you have 20 payment in the first annuity. Okay, now so then this is the first part, and then here, so for the second annuity, okay, I mean the red one, okay, which the payment is $10. Okay, so again, so you will receive the payment at K over 2, okay, every 6 months, right? But just like here, the K will start from 21 up to infinity. Okay, now and then here again, then you just multiply the time that you receive this $10 by the present value. Okay, which is exactly same as what we did for the blue one. But just like here, when you take the summation, then you sum up from KU to 21 up to infinity. Okay, so here then that will be the numerator. Okay, now then the question here is, so how do we compute the numerator? Okay, now then to compute this numerator, so then this is what we do. Okay, now so first of all, for the first so for the first summation, okay, so to compute this, so first of all you can take out the constant, right, 5 and 2, and then you got this summation, isn't it? Now and then here okay, so then this summation clearly, according to the earlier formula, that will be equal to I11A and then 20 angle 3%, right? Isn't it? So which is this formula again. Okay, now so then we got the first summation. Now and then the problem is, so how about the second one? Okay, I mean the red summation. Now for the red summation again, then you can try to do the same thing. So you take out the 10 and 2, okay, and then you got these things, right? Sorry. Up to infinity. Okay, now then the question here is, so then how do you compute this summation? Now of course here the earlier formula doesn't work, okay, because your summation has to be sum up from 1, right? Okay, now and here in order to resolve this problem, okay, then we will try to apply this trick. Okay, now so remember that when we try to develop a formula for this summation, So you will try to think of this summation as a present value of some special n unity, right? Okay, so here in order to come up a formula for this summation, so what I'm going to do is, so I will try to think of that, okay, as a present value of some special n unity. Okay, now and then the idea is something like that. And then here just recall that, okay, so this sum, okay, can be regarded as well, can be regarded as the present value of k dollar, okay, which you pay that at time kt. Okay, so assuming that the effective interest rate over a payment period is 0.03, isn't it? So this one will be exactly the present value, right? Okay, now and here you take the summation from k equal to 21 up to infinity. Okay, so then that means this summation can be regarded as a present value of this n unity. So which you receive the first payment, which is $21. Okay, KU21 at time 21t, and then 22, and then 23, and then up to infinity. Okay, so here, okay, then this summation can be think of as a present value of this increased n unity with infinitely many payment. Okay, now then given this, then now to compute this summation, then what you need to do is you just try to compute the present value of this n unity. And then here the idea is simple. So what we do is, so we first consider the present value at this 20 payment day. Okay, then at this point, so this one will be a n unity immediate, okay, and increase n unity, right? So that the present value at this point will be equal to I21, okay, because the first payment 21, right? And then the payment is increased by 1, and then A, and then bracket, and then you have infinitely many payment, right? And then the EI over a payment period is 3%. Okay, then that will be the present value at time 20t. Okay, and then here we are looking for the present value at time 0, so that you try to divide it by 1.03 to the power 20. Okay, because there are 20 periods between 0 and time 20t. Okay, so here then that will be our present value, and this will be equal to the values of this summation. Okay, so that's why this summation will be equal to this number. Okay, now then here once you have all this, okay, then actually we are done. So then what you need to do is just use the formula for your increased n unity or your n unity immediate. Then you can try to calculate each term one by one. Okay, so after some calculation, so you will find that so your Macaulay duration will be about 20.73 years. Okay, so here then this is just another example for calculating the Macaulay duration. Okay, so this is the example number 9. Okay, now and here then I try to move on to one other example, okay, about the calculation of the Macaulay duration. And then in the earlier two examples, so we try to handle the case. So when the payment made by the asset is never, okay, that means it is constant, so that you can try to calculate the Macaulay duration easily, right? Now and here in this example, so we will try to consider one cases which the payment is non-level, okay, and then we will try to see so whether or not we can obtain the elegant formula for computing this Macaulay duration. Okay, so here in this example, so we will consider the asset which is a common stock, okay, a company stock in the market, and then here for this stock, so it will pay the dividend at the end of every year. Okay, And then here, assuming that the stock, the company will not close. Okay, so that this stock can last for forever, meaning that you can receive the dividend forever as well. Okay, so here we assume that so the amount of the first payment, which is paid 1 year after the date, is $4. Okay, and then the subsequent dividend will be 5% larger than the previous one. Okay, due to the growth of the business. So meaning that the next one will be 4 times 1.05. The third one will be 4 times 1.05 all square, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then here, let's assume that so this annual effective yield rate of this asset is 6%. Okay, then my question is, so what will be the corresponding Macaulay duration of this stock? Okay, now and then here, in order to compute this Macaulay duration, so again, we will try to use this definition. This is a formula. Okay, and then here to get the formula of this, so we try to consider a particular payment, which you receive the payment at the end of the calendar year, and this payment, so according to this assumption, so the amount will be 4 times 1.05 to the power k minus 1. Okay, now so then you receive this payment at time k, right? So that the tk will be equal to k here, and then the present value so will be equal to the payment amounts divided by what? Your accumulation function AK, isn't it? Now and then here, because you earn the interest at the annual effective interest 6%. Okay, so that means your AK will be equal to 1.06 to the power k as well. Okay, so that this guy will be equal to 1.06 to the power k. Okay, so then that will be your numerator. And then similarly for the denominator, so which is just what? The summation of the present value of CK. Remember, present value of CK is just equal to this number, so that the denominator will be equal to this summation. Okay. Now, then the next question will be just how do you compute these two summation? Okay. Now, so first of all, for the denominator, so which is the present value of this cash flow actually this is not that difficult. So this summation, in fact, can be computed using the annuity theory that we have learned in topic 2. Okay, so because here you can see, so this annuity is a form of annuity immediate, and the payment is in forms of the geometric series. Okay, so remember that for this special annuity, then you can compute this present value, which is the summation in the denominator, by this formula. Okay, so just in case you forget, so remember, let's say if you got a annuity, okay, which the payment is in this pattern. Okay, yeah, it's I, and then the present value will be equal to S times 1 minus and then 1 plus R divided by 1 plus I to the power n, isn't it? Okay, so let's say if we have n payment. Okay, and then you have I minus R. Okay, and then here, okay, then you just use this formula, and then you have infinitely many payments, so that you have n times infinity. Okay, so here, okay, then this is the format that you have. And here, when n tends to infinity, this guy will tend to 0, because this term is less than 1. Okay, so that your present value will be exactly equal to 400. Okay, now, and then perhaps the summation in the denominator is easy. Okay, perhaps the only trouble will be the summation in the numerator. Okay, so here in order to get this summation properly, so again what I do is I first try to simplify the summation by taking out the term which is irrelevant, which is 4 and then this 1.05 to the power minus 1. So I take these two terms out. Okay, so that the summation in the denominator the term in the summation will be just equal to this thing only. Okay, then this is the summation that you need to handle. Alright, now and here to compute this summation, what can you do? Now and here you can see, so the summation is of the forms of k times and then some constant c to the power k, right? Okay, now then how do we compute this summation then? Now then here, then I try to recall what we have, okay, related to the summation of this form. Now so remember that in the earlier discussion, so we try to consider the summation of this form, right? Isn't it? And then at that point, so we try to compute this summation by thinking of if it as a present value of some unity. So which is what? The increasing unity, like this, right? Isn't it? Now and here, because this summation, okay, that you are encountering is quite similar to this. So what I'm going to do is, so I will try to rewrite this summation and express it in forms of this, so that I can apply this formula, okay, to get your summation. Then this is what I do. Okay, so here then I start with this summation. Okay, so the first thing that I do is, so I first try to take this term to the denominator. Okay, which is co-inline to this, okay. Now and then here to move on, so what I do is, so I try to rewrite the term in the bracket in the forms like this, so which is 1 plus 1.06 1.05 minus 1. Okay, now and then here, if you try to take this to be I, okay, then this summation will be essentially of the forms of this, maybe I use J. Okay, of the forms of this. Isn't it? And remember, according to what we got here, so this summation will be equal to I11A and then N angle J. Okay, and it should be infinity. Alright, so here then this is what, how do you handle this summation? Okay, so that's why here, if you try to take the J equal to 1.06 divided by 1.05 minus 1, okay, then this summation will be equal to this. Okay, and then here using the formula for your increasing unity, and then taking this J, and then after some computation, so you will find that this summation equal to this number. Okay, and then after you have this, so you can now put it back into this formula. Okay, so this one is 130, this one is 400. Okay, and then put everything in and do your calculation carefully, so you will find that the Macaulay duration will be around 106. Okay, so here, okay, then this is just another calculation example about the Macaulay duration for the non-level unity. Okay, so here you can see, so for the case if your unity is non-level, okay, so actually we to calculate the Macaulay duration, so basically we just use the same approach. Okay, so we always start from this general formula. Okay, and then you compute the present value and get the timing of the payment carefully. Okay, and I guess that the only difficulty is just how do you obtain the elegant formula for some string summation, okay, that appear in the calculation. Then of course, according to what you did in example 9 and 10, so there are two possible solutions. So the first possible solution is, so you try to, so let's say in example 9, you encounter this summation. Okay, and here then what you can do is, so you can try to get the formula for this summation by thinking of this summation as a present value of some special unity. Okay, whenever increasing in unity, decreasing in unity, a unity with geometry series level in unity, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then use the present value of those in unity to help you to get that summation. That's the first solution. And then another possible solution is, so like in example 10, okay, and then we have the summation like this. Then here, another way to do that is, so you try to use the existing formula, okay, and then you try to use some algebra and revise this summation into the form which is same as what is suggested in the formula, and then use that formula to help you to get the summation. Okay, so here, okay, then these are the two possible way to get the formula for some string summation. Okay, if you consider some first string in unity or the unity with the non-level payment or whatever. Okay, so here, okay, then this is a discussion on this Macaulay duration. Okay, and now after this Macaulay duration, so we will try to go back to our main business. Okay, now so here remember, what is our goal? Okay, or what is the purpose of introducing this Macaulay duration? Is so we want to study how does the asset price change respect to the interest rate, right? Okay, so in particular here, let's say if you get a asset which offer you a series of payment in future. Okay, now and then of course given this asset, okay, and then we let the I to be my yield weight. Yield weight of this asset. It can be annual normal or it can be annual effective. Okay, and then of course given this, so I can consider the values of this asset, right? Okay, so let's let it to be the PI. And remember, our preliminary goal is, so we want to investigate how does this bond price change respect to the US, isn't it? Okay. Now, and then here remember, how do we measure this? So of course, mathematically, the easiest way is you try to consider the derivative, right? Isn't it? So which is try to tell you, so how does the bond price change respect to the US? Okay, then definitely by studying the derivative, so you should be able to get the answer. Okay, but the problem here is, so some people may criticize, so whether or not this P prime I can really measure these changes precisely. So in particular here, let's say for some asset, I find that, so this P prime I is, let's say, equal to $5, for example. Then it means, so if the yield weight is changed by 1 unit, so the price will change by $5. Okay, now then given this, so can I say that this change is large or not? Okay, is it large or is it small? Alright, now and then here I would say this is a little bit embarrassing. Okay, because it will what depends on the initial price of the asset. Okay, for example here, let's say if the initial value of the asset is, let's say, $10. Okay, then of course here, so let's say if the changes is 5%, so that is about 50% of the asset value. Definitely this change will be large, right? Okay, now but on the other hand, if my PI is equal to 1 million, okay, then actually if I tell you the change is only $5, actually many people will think it is not that significant, right? Isn't it? Because it doesn't change the value that much. Okay, so because of that, so if you just use the derivative is alone, okay, to measure these price changes, so it looks like that it may not be a fair indicator. Okay, so it still depends on the PI. Alright, so because of that, so what people will do is, so instead of talking about the absolute changes, so what they do is they consider the percentage change. That is, so they will try to divide this derivative by the PI. Okay, then that will be what? A little bit fair indicator. That means that instead of considering absolute change, so I look at the percentage change. Okay, so here then we will try to use this to measure the price change. Okay, now and then here then the next thing is, so how do you obtain this formula then? Okay, now so here in order to get the mathematical formula for this, so let us try to make a little bit more assumption and specify some notation. Okay, so here first of all, so let us try to specify the yield weight. Okay, now remember when we talk about the yield weight, so the yield weight can be called either as the nominal yield weight or maybe the annual effective yield weight, right? Either one. All right, now but and here in the real market, so people always love to talk about the nominal yield weight. Okay, so here, okay, then let us try to assume that the yield weight is called as annual nominal yield weight, okay, which is equal to IM and then convertible M3. Okay, so that's your accumulation function will be equal to 1 plus IM over M to the power MT. Alright, now and then here, so given this, so then your asset price, okay, will be a function of this annual nominal yield weight. Okay, and then what we do is, so we will try to measure how does the price change with respect to this annual nominal yield weight. Okay, now and then here, remember, according to our earlier discussion, so we will try to measure these changes by calculating this percentage change, isn't it? Now and then of course in order to get this, so we first try to obtain the formula for your price function. Okay, so remember the price of this asset is just equal to the present value of all the cash flow. Okay, and then here, so for each CK, so you compute the present value by dividing by the corresponding accumulation function. And then here, given the accumulation function of this form, okay, then you substitute that, then you will get the price function, okay, which is in terms of the IM. Okay, now and then the next step will be, so we will try to use that and compute the percentage change. Okay, so remember the percentage change is just equal to the first derivative of P divided by P, right? So here then you just so to get the derivative, so you just simply differentiate this guy with respect to IM. Okay, so here, okay, I hope that it is not too difficult to do that. So first of all, you use the index rule, okay, and differentiate this guy. Okay, so that's and then this power will be pulled down and this power will be reduced by 1, right? Okay, and of course here you also need to differentiate the inner term by the chain rule as well. Okay, so that you have the 1 over m that appear here. And then so you can do a little bit simplification. So in particular, you can cancel out the m. Okay, and what's more, you can also take out this minus sign here. Okay, so that here then this will be the formula for your percentage change. So which will be the negative of this quotient of these two summation. Okay, and here you can see these two summation are both positive. So meaning that this derivative is always negative. So that means that when the yield weight is getting higher, then the present value should be decreasing. I would say this is not surprising, okay, because when the interest rate is getting higher, then the present value will be smaller, right? So that's so that when the yield weight increase, so actually this bond price, okay, will decrease as well. Okay, now then here then this is what we get. Now but of course apparently so the current formula is very complicated, which is not too user friendly. So then what I'm going to do next is so I will try to revise it and express it into some more user friendly formula. Okay, now then what should we do? So here then what we do is so here I will try to take out this term. Okay, so 1 plus im over m to the power minus 1 from the summation. Okay, then this is what you get. Okay, now then the next thing is so to do the further simplification, so I will try to interpret the sum of the term inside the summation. So in particular here, this one. Okay, ck times 1 plus im over m to the power minus mtk. Remember, this one is just equal to the ck divided by atk, right? And which is what? Equal to the present value of ck. Okay, now and then here, then given this, so then this term equal to present value of ck. And then of course, similarly, the term in the denominator is also the present value. Okay, now so in that cases, so the second term can be now be expressed as well. Summation of tk times present value of ck divided by the total present value of ck. What is that? This is just exactly the Macaulay duration. Okay, so here that means okay, so the percentage changes with respect to the annual normal yield rate can be expressed as a minus 1 over 1 plus im over m, and then multiplied by the corresponding Macaulay duration. Okay, so that's why okay this Macaulay duration is so important in this context because it provides you this nice formula. Okay, now so here then this is our final result. Okay, and then here so we will try to define the minus of this percentage change, okay, to be my modified duration. Okay, so we try to measure the size of percentage change of asset price with respect to the annual normal yield rate. Okay, so then this will be what we call the modified duration. Okay, so here then this is the definition. So let's suppose if we got the asset which paid the end payback at time at t1, t2, tn respectively, then the modified duration will be just simply the minus of the percentage change of the present value of this cash flow with respect to the annual normal yield rate. Okay, and mathematically, so it will be defined by this. Okay, and here if your I is called as the annual normal yield rate, so actually this Macaulay duration can be written as well 1 over 1 plus im over m times the Macaulay duration. Alright, so here then this is the modified duration. Okay, now and then here let me try to bring out some remark, okay, regarding this modified duration. Okay, now so first of all, when we define, so remember the modified duration try to measure the percentage change of the asset price with respect to the yield rate, right? Okay, so formally it should be defined like this. Okay, but just like here, when we define the modified duration, so we add the minus sign in front of it. Okay, why it is the case? The reason here is because here, according to our earlier calculation, so we know this percentage change is always negative already. Okay, and here here then actually we are only interested in knowing, so I know it must decrease, but just I want to know what is the size of it only. Okay, so in that cases, so the people does not care about the minus sign of these percentage changes. So that what they do is they will just add another minus sign to cancel out this negative one. Okay, so that the whole quantity will become positive. Okay, so and then this one will exactly measure the size of the percentage change. Okay, just like what I said before. Okay, first thing. Alright, and then the second issue is about the computation of the modified duration. Okay, so here usually when people compute the modified duration, so they actually do not relate on this formula because sometimes the calculation of this derivative can be sort of complicated. Alright, so instead, so what people will do is so they will first try to compute the Macaulay duration and then obtain the modified duration through this formula. Okay, and remember, Macaulay duration is just equal to the average time required to receive all payment. And receive the payments. Okay, so which is easy to compare, right? According to the earlier example. So actually, so this is the approach that people are using in calculating the modified duration. Okay, so then that is the second remark, and then the third remark, okay, will be what the formula for the modified duration under some special scenario. Okay, now so here for this modified duration, so of course the values will depends on the choice of the m, right? Okay, which will affect the present value of the cash flow. Okay, and of course here the m, which represent the compound frequency, so can run from m and up to infinity, right? Okay, now and here for some reason, so people will also consider the extreme cases, so when the interest is compound continuously, so that means m equal to positive infinity. Okay, and try to see so what happened to this modified duration. Okay, now so of course when the m tends to infinity, so your accumulation function will be equal to exponential it. Okay, so which is a continuous compounding. Okay, and then of course in that cases, then the present value of your cash flow will be what? Just equal to this formula. Okay. Isn't it? And then you take the AKU of this number, so then this is what you get. Okay, now then the next thing is, so we try to obtain the corresponding formula for your modified duration. Okay, so what it does is you try to use the definition of the modified duration, which is the minus of the percentage change of the asset price with respect to this yield rate. Okay, now and then here to get this derivative, so you just differentiate it with respect to I, then this will be the derivative that you get. Okay, now and then here once you take out the minus sign, okay, then this is what you get. And then again, so this two, remember, it's just equal to the present value of CK, and then this one also present value of CK, right? So that here, if you realize this, then the whole term is just equal to the Macaulay duration. Okay, so that means when the m tends to infinity, okay, so actually the Macaulay duration is just equal to the modified duration is just equal to the Macaulay duration. Okay, so that's why under this scenario, so actually the Macaulay duration can also be used to measure the price changes with respect to the interest rate precisely. Okay, under this scenario. Okay, so then this is the third remark of this modified duration. Okay, now and then here the fourth remark, okay, is about another possible formula for the modified duration. Okay, now so remember, when we try to express our bond price or the asset price, okay, using its yield rate. Okay, now so remember, these yield rates can be called as either the annual long-mill yield rate, okay, which is IM, and then compounded annually. Another one is the annual effective yield wage, right? Isn't it? Okay, and then here, okay, so in the earlier session, so we try to consider the case if the yield wage is called as the annual nominal yield wage. Okay, so that your modified duration will be equal to 1 over 1 plus I m over n, and then the Macaulay duration, right? Okay, now and here the question is, so let's say if the yield wage is called as annual effective yield wage, okay, then what happened to your modified duration? Okay, now and here actually to define the modified duration in these cases, so actually we can just do it in a similar manner. Okay, so here then you can try to define the modified duration as the negative of the percentage change of the asset price with respect to the annual effective interest rate I. Okay, then that you can try to define in a similar way. Okay, but just now the variable become the annual effective interest rate. Okay, now and here okay, then to get this formula, okay, so you can what? First of all, get your formula for your price function in terms of the annual effective yield wage. Okay, so remember, given the annual effective yield wage, so your accumulation function now will become 1 plus I to the power t. Okay, so that the PI equal to summation CK and then divided by ATK, isn't it? And then with this accumulation function, so this is the price function that you get. Okay, now and here to get your modified duration, so you can just use the definition and do the calculation carefully. Alright, now so for the denominator, so you don't have to do anything for that. Okay, now and here for the for the numerator, which is the derivative, so you just differentiate this guy with respect to I. So this is what you get. Okay, and then here in order to get some elegant formula, so again, so I take out the minus sign, I take out the 1 plus I do I take out this time as well. Okay, so remember that this one is the present value of CK. This one is also present value of CK. Okay, so that here the whole quotient again, what's that? This is your Macaulay duration. Okay, so that's why here the modified duration in these cases so can be written as well 1 over 1 plus I times Macaulay duration. Okay, so here, okay, then this will be what? The corresponding formula for the modified duration, okay, of your where the yield wage is called as the annual effective one. Okay, now but of course here you can see, so it looks like that depending on how does the yield wage be called, so you have different formula for your modified duration. Okay, now and here then some people will start to puzzle, then which one should we choose that? Okay, now but I would say here, first of all, in order to answer this question, so we first try to understand why does these two formula are different in general. Okay, now so remember, for both cases according to the definition, so the modified duration just try to measure the percentage change of the asset price respect to the yield rate, right? Okay, and then here the difference here is so for the first cases, okay, I mean this one. Actually, this I is called as a annual normal yield rate, right? So that means the resulting modified duration will be what? Will be the We'll try to measure how does the bond price change when the annual normal yield rate is changed by 1 unit. Okay, so this is the meaning of this first modified duration. And then here, if your yield rate is called as annual effective one, then the corresponding modified duration will tell you a little bit different story. So it will tell you how does the bond price change when the annual effective yield rate is changed by 1 unit. Okay, not nominal one. Okay, and then here we know. So when the annual nominal yield rate is changed by 1 unit, it doesn't mean that the corresponding annual effective yield rate is also changed by 1 unit, right? Okay, because of the compound effect. Okay, so that means because of the difference in nature, so actually this modified duration so will give you different answer because these two actually measure a slightly different things. Okay, so one is try to measure the price change with respect to the annual nominal interest rate. Another one is this one measure the price change with respect to the annual effective yield rate. Okay, so here okay, depending on the issue that you want to study, then you try to choose the appropriate version of the modified duration. Okay, now and then of course for modified duration, so of course these two definitions will create different answer. And then some of you may ask, so how about the Macaulay duration there? Now, I would say for Macaulay duration, so actually, whenever how does the yield rate be coded, so it should give you the same answer. The reason here is, so for Macaulay duration, it is given by this formula, right? Okay, and then which the value depends on what? The present value only. Okay, and of course here, whenever which yield rate that you are coding, this present value definitely is unchanged. Okay, so that's why here, whenever which yield rate that you choose, so your Macaulay duration should produce the same answer. Now then, this is the remark regarding this the modified duration. Now, and then the next thing that I'm going to discuss will be this what we call the first order approximation. Okay, now so what is that? Now so remember, the purpose of developing this modified duration is we want to study so when there is a change in the yield rate, so how does the asset price change, right? Okay, now but the problem here is if we just look at this modified duration unknown. Okay, so actually this modified duration may not give you a very reasonable indicator. Why? Because here, according to the definition, so this modified duration telling you so the percentage change of the asset price when your I is changed by 1 unit. Okay, of course 1 unit here we mean is what? 100%. Okay, so that means, so if the interest rate is changed by 100%, then this is so this would telling you the percentage change in the bond price, right? Now, but the problem is in real life, so actually it is very rare for you to hear that so the interest rate is changed by 100%. Okay, so quite often the actual change in the interest rate, okay, at different time is usually very small. Okay, perhaps only up to 0.25, 0.5 or at most 0.5 only. Okay, so here then it looks like that this modified duration may not be a less necessary to be a very precise estimator. Okay, so here then what I'm going to do is, so let's say if my interest rate is changed from I to I plus epsilon. Okay, and here this epsilon is just for a very small changes. Okay, in the yield weight. And our goal here is we want to know, so when this I change from I to I plus epsilon, then what will be the percentage change in the asset price? Okay, so this is something I want to figure out. Okay, now then of course here, in order to do this, so then we have to obtain, so what will be the new bond price, so after the change in the interest rate. Okay, now and then of course in order to do this, so mathematically definitely we need to have the formula of the price function, right? Okay, and of course here the price function definitely will depends on the structure of the cash flow. Okay, now but this is something not given here, right? Okay, so here without this information, so you don't have any exact formula for this PI. Okay, now then under this scenario, then how can you obtain a formula for this quantity? Okay, so then here actually one way of doing that is we can try to use the Taylor expansion. Okay, so here remember what is Taylor expansion? So the Taylor expansion says that, let's say if you got a function, so which is a sufficiently smooth, okay, or maybe differentiable. Alright, so remember the Taylor expansion says that, so this function fs can be written as this infinite series, right? Okay, of s. Okay, so here, okay, so actually, so this will be another representation of this function fs. So in other words, this Taylor expansion try to offer you another formula for your function fs. So in particular here, so this fs can be expressed as a kind of infinite series of s like that. Okay, now so here then this is the formula that I'm used. Okay, so I will try to apply this to this pi plus epsilon. Okay, so in particular here, so the f definitely we take that to be p, and then the s here we take that to be I plus epsilon, and then the a, the reference point here, then I take that as a initial interest rate. Okay, so after you take this, then you can use the Taylor expansion, then you can expand this function p1 plus epsilon into this form. Okay, now and here it looks complicated, but luckily here this s minus a, okay, can be cancelled. So that I can be cancelled out. So that after some simplification, so then this is the formula that we are going to have. Okay. Now, but the problem here is, so even though there is so we have the formula for this p I plus epsilon, but still this formula apparently is too complicated because it involves so many terms, right? Infinite terms. Okay, so here in order to get some simple formula, what I'm going to do is, so we want to do some simplification. Okay, and the idea here is, so just recall, okay, the epsilon in this formula represent the change in the yield rate. And then as I have said before, so these changes in real life is usually very small, right? So which is equal to, let's say, 0.25%, or maybe at most 0.5%, right? Okay, now so in that cases, so let's say if we take the epsilon equal to 0.25%, which is equal to 0.0025, okay, then actually the epsilon square will be a very small number. Okay, so in particular, so that will be something like this 0.00625. Okay, so you see, so this is a very small number, isn't it? Now then think about it. So if your epsilon square is that small, so actually this term will also be a very small number as well. Okay, so in that cases, so actually even you try to ignore this term, actually it won't affect the result because this value will be very close to 0. And then of course here for epsilon to the power 3, epsilon to the power 4, so it will be even smaller. Okay, so then given this, so then we can try to make the simplification and try to eliminate, try to ignore the term epsilon square, epsilon to the power 3. Okay, so that's so that this p of I plus epsilon will only consist of the first two terms. Okay, and then given this, so you can now try to compute your percentage change. Okay, so you just put in this formula pi plus p prime I epsilon. Okay, and then these pi cancel out each other. Okay, so that you only end up with this simple formula. And then here remember, so this modified that, remember this term, okay, it's just what equal to the minus of the modified duration. Okay, so here, okay, then you can see, so then this percentage change is just equal to the minus of the modified duration multiplied by the change in the interest rate. Okay, so then here, then this formula, okay, is what we call first order approximation, okay, to the percentage of the bond price. Okay, and the reason why we call it as a first order is because here we try to do the approximation, okay, using the first derivative only, okay, not all the higher order term like this. Okay, now so here then let us try to look at some example regarding the calculation of this modified duration as well as using this first order approximation. Okay, let's look here in this example 12. So it is about the calculation of the modified duration. And then in this example, so we will try to consider a 12-year par value bond, okay, with the face value 300. Okay, so remember, par value bond is just a bond which the redemption value equal to the face value. Okay, and then the annual coupon rate is 6.8% payable quarterly, and then the annual nominal yield rate of the bond is 7.4% convertible quarterly. Okay, and then given this information, so I want you to compute the modified duration of this bond with respect to the annual nominal yield rate. Okay, so that means I want to investigate how does the bond price change with respect to the annual nominal yield rate. Okay, now so in that case, so then to compute this modified duration, so then you will now use this formula. Will be equal to 1 over 1 plus IM over M, and then Macaulay duration. Alright, and then here the M will be equal to 4, and then the annual nominal yield rate is 7.4%. Okay, so then we got this already. Now then the only thing left is just to get this Macaulay duration. Okay, now so here in order to get this Macaulay duration, so we first try to obtain the effective yield rate over the coupon payment period. Okay, so which is good in calculating the price value or stuff like that. Okay, so here given this annual nominal yield rate, then the effective yield rate over the coupon payment period is just equal to 1.85%. Okay, now and then given this, so now you try to compute the Macaulay duration through this formula. Okay, now and then here to get this, so we shall start with the cash flow. You can first sketch the cash flow diagram for your bond. Okay, so which is a 12-year bond, and then for coupon per year. Alright, and then the coupon way you can also get this. What is that? So let's say 6.8% payable quarterly for the annual coupon rate, and the face value is 50/100. So that this one equal to, let me see, 6.8% divided by 4 multiplied by 1500. Okay, so you can compute that, so it should be equal to 25.5. Okay, now anyway, so here, okay, then you try to use this cash flow diagram and then try to compute this summation. Okay, now so first of all, for the denominator, this part is extremely easy because it is just the total present value, which is your bond price, isn't it? Now so here, then the bond price will be equal to the present value of this cash flow. So here, to find this present value, first of all, for the coupon, so this is in unity immediate. Okay, so the present value is 25.5 times A angle A48 angle 1.85. Okay, and then you also have the redemption value 1500. Okay, so which is paid at 48 coupon payment day. Okay, so this part is easy. Okay, and then for the denominator, okay, so for each cash flow, so you multiply the TK by the corresponding present value. Okay, so again, you try to divide it into two parts. Okay, so the first one is the redemption value, which you receive at the end of the 12th year. So TK will be 12, and then the present value of the cash flow is 100. 5 to the power 48. Okay, so that is a present value. Okay, and then for the coupon part, okay, so you receive the payment at K over 4. Okay, and the K is running from 1 to 48. Okay, and then you multiply by the corresponding present value. Okay, and then you take the summation from 1 to 48. Okay, so then this is what you expect to get. And then of course, in order to move on, so you just compute this summation. Okay, now then to get this summation, remember, we first try to take out these two constant out. Okay, so that you have this number here. And then for the remaining summation, so remember, this one is just equal to what? It's just equal to this, right? And remember, this one is just equal to 111A and then N angle I, right? Okay, so here, then this is what you get. And then here, given this, so you can use the formula for the present value of the increasing in unity and get this number to be equal to 665. And then here, after some accounting, so you will get the Macaulay duration will be 8.1933. Okay, then once you got this, then now you can use this. Formula, okay, to get your modified duration. Okay, and so here, okay, remember, because we are talking about the annual long-mill yield rate, so that you should use the corresponding version for the long-mill yield rate. Okay, so this is what you get. Okay, and then here, okay, then given this, that you can now get this final answer. Okay, so the modified duration, okay, with respect to the annual long-mill yield rate will be 8.044531. Okay, so here then this is how do we calculate the this modified duration. Okay, now and then here as a remark. Okay, so in this example, so we calculate the modified yield rate with respect to the annual long-mill yield rate. But here, let's suppose in some situation, so I'm interested in knowing how does the bond price change with respect to the annual effective yield rate instead. Okay, now then in that case, then what should you do? Okay, now so in that cases, so if we want to compute the corresponding modified duration, then now you should try to use the version for the annual effective yield rate. Okay, so we let the so here, okay, the I is what? The annual effective yield rate. Okay, now and then here to get this, so remember, so for the Macaulay duration, so it will be equal to this number. Okay, so remember, so the Macaulay duration should be unchanged, okay, whenever which yield rate that you are quoting. Okay, so the only method is, so you just need to obtain your corresponding annual effective yield rate. Okay, now so here remember, given the annual nominal yield rate, okay, which is 0.074, then you can obtain the corresponding the effective yield rates over the coupon payment period, right? And remember, given this effective yield rates over the coupon payment period, then the annual effective yield rate will be just equal to what? 1 plus j to the power 4, because m equal to 4, right? And then minus 1. So which is equal to 7.6079. Okay, and then here if you try to put that in and we do the calculation, so you will find that the modified duration this time will become 7.61. Okay, so which is different from the one that you obtain based on the annual nominal yield rate. So as I have said, don't be surprised by this result, because these two modified duration try to measure the bond price change with respect to different yield rates. Okay, so it is always the case that you have different answer. Okay, but just here, from this remark, just try to tell you, in case if you want to investigate how does a bond margin respect to the effective yield rate, then this is the modified duration that you should consider. Okay, so here, okay, then this is a one sample calculation about this modified duration. All right, now and then here, then I try to move on to another example. So in the next example, so it is about the first order approximation. Okay, the story here is, so let's suppose I got a bond in the market which the current price is 1020.6. Okay, so which is your PI. Okay, and here let's assume that, okay, so the bond will pay the coupon semi-annually. Okay, and the current yield rate is 5.6%. Okay, and the m equal to 2. M equal to 5.6%. Okay, and here in this problem, you are given that the Macaulay duration of the bond is 5.81. Okay, and here what I want you to do is, so I want you to try to estimate the bond price when the yield rate is changed to different level. Okay, and here, so I want you to do the estimation using the first order approximation. Okay, why do we need that? Because here, because in this problem, so you don't have too much information about this bond, okay, including the coupon rate, face value, redemption value. So that it is difficult for you to get this new bond price, okay, using the bond price formula directly. So here then I will try to make use of this first order approximation to help us. Okay, now so here let us try to do the part A. Okay, so let's say your annual nominal yield rate it decreased to 5.5%. Okay, so I want to know, so what will be the corresponding bond price? Okay, so here to do that, then I try to make use of the first order approximation. Okay, so remember, the first order approximation try to tell you, so what is the percentage change in the bond price when the yield rate is changed from I to I plus epsilon. Okay, so in our case that would be what, 5.6 and then change to 5.5. Okay, and here the epsilon will be equal to minus 0.1%. All right, now and then here and then according to the first order approximation, remember the percentage in the bond price is just equal to the minus of the modified duration times the change in the interest rate. Okay, now and then here So we know, so the pi is equal to this number. Okay, and then the epsilon is minus 0.1%. Okay, and then the only thing left is just to obtain what is the modified duration. Okay, now and then here because because we are working on the annual normal yield weight, so that here when you calculate the modified yield weight, so of course modified duration, so we should use the version for the annual normal yield weight. So that means, so this modified duration is equal to this formula. Alright, and the m here will be equal to 2, Im equal to 5.6, and then Macaulay duration equal to 5.81. Okay, and then you will got this number. Okay, so then given this, then you can use this equation and get the formula for your for this Newborn Plus. Okay, so here, okay, then you just try to do some algebra and substitute the numbers here. Then you will find that after the approximation, so the bond price after the change in the yield weight will be equal to 1026.36H2. Okay, so here then this is how do you estimate the new bond price based on this first order approximation. Okay, now so then this is the part A. Okay, now and then here after the part A, so let us try to consider another scenario. Okay, so here let's suppose the annual effective yield weight is increased to 5.987%. Okay, alright, so remember the yield weight can be called in different way, right? Okay, and then here, so what I want you to do is, so I want you to repeat the same calculation and try to obtain, so what is the change in the bond price, so if the yield weight increase to this level. Now, so here in order to get this change in the bond price, okay, so remember the change in the bond price is just equal to the bond price after the changes, okay, and then minus the current bond price. Okay, so that means what you need to do is you have to obtain what will be the new bond price after the changes. Okay, and then of course here to find this new bond price, one way of doing that is you just use this first order approximation, and then repeat the same calculation using the new epsilon and try to get this answer. Okay, but just here one has to be careful is that because now the new yield weight level is called as the effective yield weight instead. Okay, so here what you need to do is, so you have to first try to obtain, so what will be, so given the annual effective yield weight is 5.987%. So you have to obtain, so what will be the corresponding level of the annual normal yield weight. Okay, now and here in order to get this, so first of all, you first, given the annual effective yield weight, you first recover the corresponding yield weight over the coupon payment period, which is 6 months. Okay, so here using this conversion formula, okay, then you get the J equal to 0.0295. Okay, so which is the effective yield weight over the coupon payment period. And then given this, then you can find the annual normal yield weight by just multiply this J by the combined frequency, right? So which is equal to 5.9%. Okay, so that means this will be what our corresponding annual normal yield weight. Okay, and remember the initial yield weight is 5.6%. So that means this corresponds to the epsilon equal to 0.3%. Okay, now then given this, then now you can use the first order approximation and try to estimate your new bond price. Okay, now and here so for the modified duration, so that will be 1 over 1 plus 0.052 Im over m, and then Macaulay duration. Okay, and then epsilon is 0.3%, and then pi is the initial price. Okay, then after you have all this data, then you just put that in. Then you will find that the new bond price after changes will be 1003.2955. Okay, and then here if we want to know the price change, okay, then will be just equal to the price after the changes minus the bond price before the changes. Okay, so here I didn't do the calculation, so the answer will be roughly minus 17.2045. Okay, hopefully my calculation is correct anyway. No, it's 30. Okay, now anyway, so then this is how do you estimate the price change, okay, using the first order approximation. Okay, so here, okay, let's say if you don't have any data about the payout structure of the bond, so actually this is a first order approximation, so can try to help you to estimate the new bond price. Okay, but here just be careful is that, so this is a pricing formula that you obtain from this through the approximation. Okay, so here remember we obtain this formula by skipping the higher order term, because our belief is so that when the epsilon is small, so then this then the higher order term will be very, very small. Okay, but of course here in general, okay, actually this approximation may not always valid, okay, especially your epsilon. Okay, the change in the interest rate is significant, like 0.5% or even higher, let's say 1%. Okay, so in that cases, then this approximation may not give you an accurate estimation, because the term that you skip, okay, may still have some value, okay, which you cannot ignore that so casually. Okay, so here then the next question will be, so let's suppose, okay, if your change in the interest rate is very, very high, okay, and the first order approximation doesn't hold, okay, then the question will be, so can we get a much better approximation formula for this? Okay, and then here in order to do this, so then one possible solution is, so you try to enhance the accuracy by including more term. Okay, so perhaps here you try to include the second order term. Okay, so here this second order term you can see, so it involves the second derivative, right? Okay, so here, okay, because of that, so then we try to introduce another concept, what we call commodity. Okay, so which is useful, okay, for these purposes. Okay, so here, okay, again we consider a asset which pay a series of cash flow C1, C2, Cn, okay, at this and this rate time. Okay, and then again, given the yield weight I, okay, whenever it is called as annual nominal one or annual effective one, so then you take the PI, okay, as the prices. Okay, now and here, then we will try to define the modified convexity as the second derivative of this price function divided by the divided by the PI. Okay, so which is similar to the modified duration. Okay, but just now we consider second derivative. Okay, now so here then this is the basic definition of the convexity. Okay, now then the next question will be, so then what will be the formula of this modified convexity? Now and then here, in order to do that, so let us assume that, so the yield weight is called as an annual nominal yield weight convertible MV. Okay, so that means your AT is equal to 1 plus IM over M to the power MT. Okay, now and then given this, so you can try to get your present value. at the PI as a present value of all this cash flow. Okay, then the next step is then you try to differentiate this to get the convexity. Then you try to differentiate this price function with respect to I twice. Okay, and then here because of the I is just in this denominator, so if you just differentiate twice and apply in the chain rule, then this is what you get. Okay, and then here then if you try to rearrange the term, okay, perhaps taking out some term which is irrelevant to K to simplify your summation, okay, then this will be the final formula that you are going to get for the modified convexity. And then here, let us try to go through some remark regarding this convexity and also try to know, so how do we really apply this modified convexity for our goal. Okay, now so here the first remark, okay, we just another notation related to convexity. So actually in financial industry, so besides the modified convexity, so some people will also discuss the concept what we call the Macaulay convexity. Okay, so which is the concept parallel to the Macaulay duration. Okay, now so remember for Macaulay duration, so it is defined by this, right? Okay, the average time that you need to receive all the payment. Okay, so here actually people will also define the Macaulay convexity in this way. So here, okay, what they do is they will just square the TK. Okay, so just use the same definition as the Macaulay duration, but just what you consider the TK all square. Okay, then this is the Macaulay convexity. Okay, now then of course some people may probably ask, so why do we consider that? Okay, and what's that for? So in fact this Macaulay convexity actually can be used to examine the convexity of the modified convexity of an asset under some very special scenario. For example, so in particular, so we consider the case when m tends to infinity. Okay, so meaning that the interest rate is compounded continuously. So remember in that cases, so the price function is just given by this formula, okay, under the continuous compounding. Okay, now so in that cases, if you try to revisit your modified convexity, so then the resulting formula will be surprisingly simple. So in particular here, if you try to differentiate this guy twice, so you only have TK all square falling out. Okay, and then here remember this term is just equal to the present value. This term also equal to present value. So here then this will be our modified convexity. So which is exactly the Macaulay convexity. So that means here actually this Macaulay convexity can be used to measure the convexity of the asset, okay, under the continuous compounding scenario. Okay, now but nevertheless, okay, so actually this Macaulay convexity, personally, I think this may not be that popular. Okay, so here, okay, usually people will only talk about the modified convexity, or whenever you talk about investigate the price change, or maybe you want to choose the optimal portfolio for your bond investment. Okay, now anyway, so then this is the Macaulay convexity. Then the next issue that we are going to talk about will be something related to our goal. Okay, now so remember our goal is, so let's say if the interest rate change from I to I plus epsilon. Okay, so what I want to know is, so what will be the corresponding percentage change? Okay, and then here to do that, remember, so we try to use the Taylor expansion, right? And then expand this new bond price use like this. Okay, and then here in the first order approximation, so we only keep the first two terms, right, and ignore all these terms and try to estimate the new percentage change. But as I have said, so this approximation may not be accurate, so if your epsilon is large. So here, in order to get a more reliable estimate in these cases, so we will try to include more term, okay, in your approximation formula. So in particular here, so I will try to include the second order term. Okay, so that's why we consider convexity. Okay, so here then let's try to see so how does this convexity can help you, okay, to get this new approximation formula. Okay, so as I have said before, okay, so we try to use the Taylor expansion and expand this new price function. Okay, but just here we will ignore all the terms starting from epsilon to the power 3. Okay, and keep the first 3 terms. Okay, now and here to get the bond price change, I mean the percentage changes, so then you just put in the formula into this. Okay, and of course here the pi can be cancelled out. Okay, so that here then after this, so you can just separate, then this percentage change will be just the sum of these two terms. Okay, which is these two survivor divided by pi. Okay, and here remember this p prime I pi is just equal to the minus of modified duration, and then this term is just a modified convexity. Okay, so in other words, so this now by including one more term, so then this percentage change can be represented simultaneously by the modified duration and the modified convexity. Okay, so here then this formula, which you also consider second derivative, is what we call second order approximation. And then we believe that, so because it includes one more term into the calculation, so this second order approximation should give you a much better prediction, okay, on the new bond price after the when there's a change in the yield rate. Okay, so we will demonstrate this point by some numerical example later on. Okay, so here then this is just some quick remark about the convexity as well as the application of this modified convexity. Now, and then after that, so we will try to go to some computational issue. Okay, now so here in this example 16, so we try to consider the convexity of a single cash flow. Okay, and see what does it looks like. Okay, now and here in particular, so we consider there is a single cash flow that is available at time t. Okay, so let's call this amount to be C. Okay, and then here what I want to do is, so I want you to calculate, okay, what will be the convexity of this cash flow. And given that, so the annual nominal interest rate is I, convertible annually. Okay, now so here in order to do this, okay, of course you can use the formula that we just derived, but that one certainly is quite complicated, right? So here then let's try something easier. So let's say I just consider, so I just consider the definition. Okay, remember, modified convexity equal to the second derivative of the price function divided by the pi, the price function. So here, in order to get the second derivative, so you first start to get what is pi. Okay, so remember, pi is just equal to the present value of this $C. Okay, and then given that, so the annual nominal interest rate is I, convertible annually, so this will be your accumulation function. So that the present value of C will be just equal to C divided by 80, and then you substitute the accumulation function, then this is what you're supposed to get. Okay, then once you get this pi, then the next step is you try to get the second derivative. That is, you try to differentiate this function twice with respect to I. Okay, so here then just after some careful differentiation, so then this is what you get. Okay, so that here by rearranging the term, then this will be what our second derivative. Then finally, if you want to get the modified capacity, so you just divide this formula by the pi. Okay, so that's this is what you get, mt times mt plus 1 divided by m2, and then c1 plus im to the power minus mt minus 2, and then divided by minus mt. Okay, and here you can see, so there is some cancellation here, so that this one can be cancelled out, and then this mt can be cancelled out with this guy as well. Okay, so leaving you this simple formula. Okay, so here then this is the modified capacity of a single cash flow. Okay, now so here then this is just one sample calculation of this modified capacity. Now, and then here, so you can see, so the calculation of the modified capacity in general is something very complicated. Okay, now of course here in this example we only consider a single cash flow, so which the capacities can be still compute in a reasonable capacity. Okay, now but the problem here is, let's say if you have a series of cash flow. Okay, so let's say if you have a multiple cash flow like that. Okay, then here if you want to calculate the capacity using the definition, so the resulting formula will be very complicated. Now so just remember, okay, in page 47, okay, so we already got the formula, right? So the modified capacity is equal to this crazy formula. Okay, now and then here of course if you have a very good memory, and then you can memorize this formula, then definitely you can just calculate this modified capacity using this formula. Okay, but sometimes in order to just help us to memorize this formula a bit, so what we do is, so again, just like what we did for the modified duration, so I want to convert it into some more convenient form. Okay, now so to do that, then we will try to make use of the results that we get in example 16. Okay, so here in particular, okay, so given a single cash flow, so the modified capacity is equal to this number. Okay, remember that. Alright, now then given this, then you can now try to obtain a easy formula, okay, for this modified capacity for the general set of the cash flow. Okay. Alright, so here, okay, just recall, okay, your modified capacity of a general cash flow, okay, is given by this formula. Okay, now and then remember, given a single cash flow, so your modified capacity is equal to this number. Okay, now and then here, if you consider put in T equal to TK, okay, and then you consider the cash flow CK. Alright, then here that means one of the cash flow in your series, okay, then the modified capacity of this single cash flow will be just equal to this formula, right? So just simply take T equal to TK. Okay, so in that cases, so you have to use this to obtain a easier formula for this modified capacity. So in particular here, we start from the formula for the the general formula for the modified capacity of this general cash flow. And then here, what I do is, so I try to write this as summation, k plus 1, okay, and then mtk plus 1 I over n to the power 2, and the present value of ck divided by pi. Okay, now and here, if you try to look at this term, okay, this coefficient is Actually, this is exactly same as this convexity of a single cash flow, right? Okay, so that means, okay, so this one will be equal to what? The modified convexity of a single cash flow CK. So that at the end, then you can see that, okay, so the modified convexity can be written as the sum, okay, of the convexity of the individual cash flow, okay. And here, okay, this constant in the front actually is just represent the rate, okay, which is similar to that, okay, in the Macaulay duration. Okay, so in other words, so this modified convexity is just the weighted average of the modified convexity, okay, which the weight is determined by what? The size of his present value, okay, present value, okay, over the total present value of the cash flow. Okay, so here, okay, then this is the computation formula for the modified convexity. So here, then let's say if you really got the set of the cash, really get as the set of the cash flow, okay, then to compute the modified convexity, so you first try to compute for each cash flow. So what will be the corresponding modified convexity, okay, and then you find the convexity of the overall cash flow just using the weighted average. Okay, now so here then let us try to go through one example and illustrate this part. Okay, so here let's suppose, so I got a annuity immediate, so which will offer me $100 at the end of the first year, $300 at the end of the second year, and then $500 at the end of the third year. Okay, so you got this free cash flow for this annuity. And then here you are given that, so the annual nominal interest rate is 10% convertible annually. So that means that, so the effective interest rate over a payment period is just also 10%. Okay. Alright, so I guess it's not too difficult to obtain. Okay, and your accumulation function is equal to this. Okay, now here what I want you to do is, so I guess I made a typo here. So I want you to compute what is the modified convexity of this annuity. Alright, now and here, in order to get this, okay, so remember, so the modified convexity of the annuity is just what? The weighted average of the modified convexity of each individual cash flow. Okay, now so here, okay, then in order to get this modified convexity, so we try to go through a couple of steps. Okay, so the first step is you first try to obtain the modified convexity for each cash flow. Okay, now so here and then here, okay, so let us consider a particular cash flow, so which pay some money at time K. Okay, and of course in our cases, so the K is either 1, 2, 3. Alright, now and then here to get this convexity, so you just use this formula. Okay, so I guess I don't want to go back to that pages. Okay, so let me just copy and that. So the modified K is equal to MTK and then MTK plus 1 divided by M squared, and then I plus I M to the power minus 2. Okay, now and then here remember the M is the compound frequency. So in our case, that will be equal to 1, okay? And then TK will be equal to K, and I equal to 0.1, okay? So given this, so then this will be our convexity of the individual asset. All right, now and then given this the convexity of the individual cash flow. So now then you can go back to the modified convexity of the entire asset. So which is equal to the weighted average of modified convexity of individual asset. Okay, so which is equal to this, right? Okay, the first modified convexity multiplied by the rate. Okay, and then the second one, and then the third one. Okay, and then here, okay, then to calculate the present value, so you just for each cash flow, you compute the present value by dividing it by the suitable AT. Okay, so then this is something what you get. Okay, and here after you get this free number and also this modified convexity of the individual asset, then you can use this formula and get your modified convexity of the overall asset, so which is equal to 7.145154. Okay, so here then this is just a sample calculation of this modified convexity. So let's say if you have an asset which will pay a several cash flow like this, then what you can do is, first of all, obtain the modified convexity of each individual asset. Okay, so which the formula is relatively easy. And then to come up the modified convexity of the overall asset, use the weighted average of the modified convexity, and that's it. Okay, so here then this is the example 17. Okay, now after this example, so we'll move on to example 18. Okay, so which is the issue related to the first order approximation and the second order approximation. Now, and then as I have said before, so the purpose of introducing this modified convexity is want to obtain a better prediction on the percentage change in the bond price when the interest rate change from I to I plus epsilon. And then here in this example, so we will try to compare the accuracy of using the first order approximation, which you estimate using the duration only, and also the second order approximation, which you try to include one more estimate the percentage change using both duration and convexity. Okay, and then so here then this is the example that we take. So here then we consider a 10-year bond, okay, with the face value 1,000 and coupon rate 5% payable annually. And here we assume that so this is a par value bond, so that the redemption value is equal to 1,000 as well. Okay, and then here we assume that so the term structure is flat and the current annual effective interest rate is 5%. So actually this assumption means that the spot rate of all the maturity is all equal to 5%. Okay, so that's why we say it's a flat term structure. So in fact, the consequence of this assumption is, so it will imply that the annual effective yield rate of the bond is equal to 5%. Okay, and of course in our cases, because the coupon is paid annually as well. Okay, so actually this will also imply that okay the annual nominal interest rate yield rate is 5% as well. Okay, so actually so here okay then this is what this means. Okay, now anyway, so here okay then let us try to do this experiment. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is, so I will try to consider two scenarios. Okay, so the first scenario is, so let's say if the interest rate is changed from 5% to 5.25%, so which means the change in the interest rate is small. Okay, and then what I want to do is, so I want to estimate the bond price. Okay, the new bond price after the changes using the first order approximation and second order approximation. Okay, and then we will try to see which one is accurate. So try to compare the accuracy by compare it by the true price. Okay, so which is you calculate based on the formula for the bond price. Because in this example, so I give you the full information about the bond already. Okay, so here then this is what I do, and then here I will do the case when the interest rate change is small, and then I will also do the case when the change in the interest rate is large, so let's say 7.5%. Okay, and then we will try to estimate the new bond price using first order approximation and second order approximation, and try to see which one will be more accurate. Okay, now so here then how do we do that? Okay, now so here, okay, remember, okay, so here, okay, to do this, so we just record the first order and second order approximation. Okay, so for first order approximation, so this is the format that we use, right? And then for second order approximation, so then you try to include one more time, isn't it? Okay, now so here, whenever you use the first order approximation or second order approximation, so then what you need to do is, so you have to compute, so what are the modified duration and the modified complexity. Okay, now so here, in order to get this, so first of all, you first start with the initial bond price, okay, because you need the PI, right? Now so here, okay, the PI is just equal to the present value of the future cash flow. Okay, so in our case that would be 10-year bond, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Okay, and then the redemption value is 1,000. Okay, so which is assumption, and then the coupon rate is 5% payable annually. Okay, now and then this will be the structure of our bond. Okay, then the bond price equal to the present value of this cash flow, assuming that the annual effective, so assuming that the yield rate is 5% over a payment period. Okay, then this is what you get, and then you find that the answer is exactly 1,000. Alright, now and then here, given this, so you can try to compute the corresponding modified duration or modified complexity. Okay, now so here okay, for modified duration, so that will be equal to 1 over 1 plus I over M. Okay, and then the Macaulay duration. Okay, and then here, okay, and then here, so which one should we consider? Okay, so here, okay, because we are talking about the annual effective yield rate. Okay, so here then I will just use the annual effective one. Okay, which is this one. Okay, and then the I is 5%. Okay, and then for Macaulay duration, so you just calculate this summation TK and then present value of CK divided by the total present value. Okay, so which is equal to 7.7217. Okay, so you can try to do the calculation by yourself. Okay, and similarly for the modified complexity, so here then you can just try to compute that using the formula, or maybe using the two-step procedure that they introduced before. Okay, so here after some calculation, so you will find the modified complexity is 74.99768. Okay, so here I'm not going to go through the calculation because it's just some tedious stuff. Okay, now so here then given this, so you can now try to estimate the new bond price using the first order and second order approximation respectively. Okay, so here this is our target, right? Okay, so then using the first order and second order approximation, so then this will be the formula that you can use to estimate the new bond price. Okay, now and then here okay, then let us try to compute the new bond price, okay, under different levels of the interest rate change. Okay, so here first of all, let us consider the case when the interest rate change from 5% to 5.25, which is the one that in A. Okay, then the epsilon will be very, very small, right? So in that cases, so you'll find that so the new bond price under the first order and second order approximation actually does not differ too much. Okay, and here you can also compute the exact bond price by taking the yield rate is 5.25%, and then you calculate the present value. Okay, and then you can see. So you can see the first order and second order approximation are quite accurate in the sense that it is very close to the true answer. Okay, so that means in their cases, so both approximation are reliable. Okay, now but here if you try to consider the case when the interest rate change a lot. So let's say if the interest rate change by 2.5%. Okay, then now using the first order and second order approximation, so then this is the price that you get. Okay, and the exact answer is 828. Now so here then you can see, so for the first order approximation, so actually this answer is quite different from the exact answer, right? Okay, and so that means the first order approximation happen to be not accurate. But in fact, if you look at the second order approximation, so this one is the answer is still close to the exact answer, even though there is some deviation. Okay, so here again, given this, so we can see, so the second order approximation, as we expect, so can produce a accurate estimate on the new bond price when the interest rate change significantly. Okay, so here, okay, then this is then what this numerical example is about. All right. Now, of course, here I didn't really go through every technical calculation, so you can try to do it by yourself at home. Okay. Now, so here then this is the example 18 regarding the accuracy comparison between the first order approximation and the second order approximation. And then after this, so then in the list 9, okay, so this is just another I'm not sure, okay, so it's just another formula that you can try to compute the convexity. Okay, so actually this formula is only useful for some very special scenario that, okay, your cash flow has some very specific pattern. Okay, personally, I taught that in the past year, okay, but it looks like that, so this formula may not be too useful. Okay, so here, okay, then I guess I'm not really go through this, okay, and don't worry too much, okay, so this won't appear in your final exam. Okay, now so here then let me just skip this formula and this example. Okay, now and here let us just go through the last part of this chapter. Okay, now so far, okay, so when we try to consider the duration and the convexity and investigate the price change of an asset, so we just will focus on the case where we only have the single asset, okay, or I mean the single bond. Alright, and here if we have the single bond, okay, so remember the bond price is only driven by its own yield rate, right? Okay, so that when you look at the price change with respect to the interest rate, then you can just focus on this yield rate, then that's it, right? Okay, now but of course in general, so when people talk about the price change, okay, so of course they will not just look at the price change of a single asset. Instead, so they will talk about a portfolio. Okay, because quite often when the investor do the investment, so they will not put all the capital in a single asset. Instead, so they will try to invest it, okay, into multiple assets. Okay, so let's say bond 1, bond 2, bond n. Okay, in order to achieve what we call the diversification. Okay, and then here in that cases, so what the investor will be interested is they want to know, so how does the portfolio value change with respect to the change in the interest rate. Okay, and then of course here this analysis will be something a little bit more complicated. The reason here is so due to the time structure. Okay, so actually this bond may have different yield rates. Okay, so this end bond will have different yield rates. Okay, then of course here your portfolio value will be driven by this end yield rate. Okay, now then what will be the trouble there? Now so here when there is a change in the interest rate, okay, change in the market condition, so actually this factor will affect this yield rate differently. Okay, so meaning that so these yield rate may move in different magnitude or even in different direction. Okay, so in that cases, okay, so if you want to investigate the change in the portfolio value, okay, then you have to investigate then you have to know, so how does this yield rate change, okay, when there is any change in the market condition. Okay, so here, okay, then we will try to look at this issue briefly, okay, and try to see, so let's say if you have such a portfolio like that, so how do you investigate the portfolio change? Okay, so again, so what we are going to do is, so we will try to investigate this by computing the duration and convexity of your portfolio. Okay, and try to see, so what will be that. Okay, now so here, okay, to do the analysis, so we will try to consider two scenarios. Okay, so the first scenario is, so let us consider a very ideal cases. So let's say all this bond has the same yield rate. Okay, and then when there's a change in the interest rate, so they will all move in the same direction. Okay, now and here, so let's say if you have this condition, so let us try to look at, so what will happen to the duration and the convexity. Okay, now so here first of all, so for each, so here so for this portfolio we consist of this n bond. So first of all, I try to let P1I, P2I, and Pni be the prices of this n bond. Okay, now and then given this, then you can define your portfolio value. Okay, the Pi. Alright, and here because this n bond are driven by the common yield rates, right? So that the portfolio value will also be a function of I only, and then this will be equal to what? P1I plus P2I plus Pni. Okay, then that will be our portfolio value. Okay, now and then here to facilitate the later analysis, so here I will also define the modified we will define this D mod K and C mod K be the modified duration and the modified convexity of this of the K asset. Okay, so that means for each bond, so you define this modified convexity and the duration of each bond. Okay, now and here our goal is, so given this setup, so I want to obtain the formula for the modified duration and the convexity of the portfolio. Okay, now then to get this, so basically we just simply use the definition and do the job. Okay, so here to obtain the modified duration of the portfolio, then you just simply use the definition. So remember, modified duration is just the minus of the percentage change of the portfolio value. Okay, and here remember the portfolio value is just what? The sum of the value of the individual bond, right? Isn't it? And then here, then you just given this, then you just put that into this formula. Okay, so that you can try to this first derivative can be expanded as the sum of the derivative of each of these individual bond parts. Okay, and then here you can of course write that as a summation like this. Okay, now and then in order to move on, so what I do is I try to multiply both numerator and denominator by this common factor. Okay, and then the purpose of doing this is, so if you try to consider this term, okay, so actually this is what just a modified duration of the bond K. Okay, and so here, okay, by doing that, then you can see, so the modified duration can be written as well the linear combination of the modified duration. Okay, and here if you try to look at the coefficient, so which is pki divided by pi. Okay, so what is that? So remember, pi is just equal to what? The total value of this n bond. Okay, and the denominator is what? Is just the value of a particular bond. Okay, so here, okay, this one actually is just what can be represent a kind of weight, okay, that you assign to this bond K. Okay, so in other words, so this modified duration can be expressed as a weighted average of the modified duration of each individual bond. Okay, weighted by what is value. Okay, relative to the overall portfolio value. Okay, so then here, then this is the modified duration of the portfolio. Okay, now and then of course you can also do the same thing for the convexity as well. Okay, so using the definition, okay, so the modified convexity equal to the second derivative divided by the pi. Okay, so again, so because the pi equal to the summation, the sum of the value of this n bond. Okay, and then you apply the linearity, that this one will be equal to this. And again, you multiply both sides by multiply the numerator and denominator by this pki. Okay, and then this is what you get. And again, this number is just equal to the modified convexity. Okay, and as usual, the remaining term here is just equal to the rate. So in other words, so this modified convexity of the portfolio is just what, again, weighted average of the convexity of this n asset. Alright, so here, okay, then this is so this is the case, okay, when the asset has identical yield weight. So we see that, so the modified duration and the convexity of the portfolio is just a weighted average of the corresponding modified duration or convexity of this n asset. Alright, so then this is the first cases. Okay, now and here let us consider the second cases. Okay, now so for the second cases, so we consider a general cases that so your n asset may have different yield weight. Okay, so in particular we consider a portfolio consists of this n bond. Okay, and then the yield weight of this bond is I1, I2, IN respectively. Okay, and they are different. Okay, now so in that cases, so if we talk about the portfolio value, alright, so that will be the sum of all these the value of this individual bond. Okay, and then which the value depends on I1, I2. And then which the overall portfolio value depends on what? This n yield weight. Okay, so that here this portfolio value will be a function of this n variable. Okay, now and then here of course if we want to change sorry, if we investigate the portfolio value change with respect to this yield weight, okay, then of course here mathematically you should consider the partial derivative, right? Okay, so look at something like this, and then obtain the total defense or stuff like that. But here it may be too complicated to do so. Okay, so here in order to simplify the analysis, so what people try to do, especially what the people in financial community do, is they will try to assume that so when there is a change in the interest rate, okay, so all the yield rates, okay, will be changed by the same amount. Okay, so that means so that means if so let's say this is my initial yield rate of this M bond. Okay, and then here so we assume that in future when there is any change in the interest rate, which case the changes in all these yield rates, so we will assume that all these yield rates will be changed by the same amount and move along the same direction. Okay, so here then this assumption is what we call parallel shift. Okay, now then in that cases, so how does it simplify our analysis there? Okay, so here in that cases, okay, so when there is a change in the interest rate, okay, so then the value, okay, will be driven by, so the final value will only driven by this epsilon, right? So in that cases, okay, so originally your preferred value should be a function of n yield rate. Okay, and then after this simplification, so you can try to treat this preferred value as a function of epsilon. Okay, so this epsilon will be a only variable. Okay, so that is something like this. Okay, and then here if epsilon equal to 0, so that means it corresponds to the case that, so this one it will correspond to the initial preferred value. Okay, and then P epsilon will be what? The preferred value after the changes. Now, and then here, what I'm interested to know is, so I want to know, so when there's, so how does this preferred value change with respect to the epsilon? Okay, now and then here, in order to do this, so you can try to define the modified duration and the convexity in this way. Okay, so the idea is very similar to the case for the identical yield rate. Okay, so here then for modified duration, then we will just try to define it as a percentage change, okay, of the preferred value with respect to the epsilon. Okay, and you take the minus sign. Okay, now and then here, here of course in general, so this epsilon can be any value. Okay, but here because of the initial interest rate is I1, I2, In, which correspond to the case epsilon equal to 0. Okay, so here to investigate the preferred value change, definitely we will investigate the changes when the epsilon change from epsilon equal to 0 to some other thing else. Okay, so that's why here we will try to derive this derivative at epsilon equal to 0. Okay, then this is the modified duration. And then similarly for the modified convexity, so we will define it in this way, which is the second derivative divided by P epsilon. Okay, so we move the master. Okay, so there's a typo here. Okay, and then you derive that at epsilon equal to 0. Okay, so then here, then this is how do we define the modified duration and modified convexity. Okay, now and then here, given this, then you can now try to compute this, obtain the formula for the modified duration and convexity. So here, let us start with the modified duration. Okay, so here, in order to get this, so you first try to compute the first derivative. Okay, and then you derive that at epsilon equal to 0. Okay, so here remember the Pi is just equal to the sum of the values of the n bond, right? Isn't it? And then here okay, so if you consider Pi plus epsilon, so that will be equal to summation pk and then ik plus epsilon. Okay, now and then here then you try to differentiate this guy with respect to epsilon. Okay, now and then here then you just differentiate one time. Okay, and then by the linearity, so then this is something what you get. Alright, and then here you take epsilon equal to 0, so that you get this thing. Okay, now and then here to facilitate the later analysis, so what I do is, so I try to replace it, okay, by this number. Do you get that? So actually this is just follow from the definition of the modified duration, which is equal to minus the pk prime ik divided by pk ik. Okay, and then here then you just put this minus side and this pk ik to the left hand side, then this is what you get. Okay, now and then here, so this is how do you get the first derivative. So after you have this, so you can now use the definition, put into this formula for the modified convexity. Then again, this is something what you get. And then here, let us try to do some rearrangement of term. So what I do is, so I isolate this modified duration, I take that out, and then here, and then the constant inside, okay, will, I mean this coefficient will be a kind of weight again. Okay, because remember pkik is the values of the k bar. Okay, and then the pi here is the total the total value of this n bar. Okay, which is your profile value, right? Okay, so again, so this one represents the weight. Okay, so again you can see, so under this assumption that, okay, we have this parallel shift, so this modified duration again is the weighted average of the modified duration, okay, of the individual asset. Okay, and similarly for the convexity, so you can deduce the similar result. So here to get this, so again you call the definition of the modified convexity, and then again then you try to differentiate the price function with respect to epsilon and substitute epsilon equal to 0. Then again, after some algebra, then you can obtain that the modified convexity is just equal to the weighted average of the modified convexity of the individual asset. Okay, so here, okay, then so we can see that, so the result is very similar to the case for when we have the identical yield weight. So the modified duration or maybe modified convexity is also the weighted average of the duration and order convexity. Okay, and then actually this is the formula that people always use externally in the real financial market to find the duration and the convexity of the portfolio. Okay, but just here from this calculation, so I hope you can alert that. So actually when you try to apply this formula, so actually we have implicitly assumed that, so all the yield weights are moved at the same level and in the same direction, which is the parallel shift. Okay, so actually without this parallel shift, so actually this formula may not necessarily hold. Okay, so here, okay, then this is a quick analysis on how do you get your duration and the convexity of the portfolio of bonds. Okay, now and here one quick example. Okay, so let's say in the example 20, so we consider this as scenario. So let's suppose I got a guy called John, okay, so who is holding 3 bonds, 1 unit each. Okay, and then here for the bond A, so it has the modified duration 20 years. Okay, and the price is S. Okay, and of course here the price will be equal to your value of your bond. Okay, now and then for B, so the modified duration is again 20. Okay, and then the price is Y. And then for C, so the price is X plus Y. Okay, but the duration is unknown. Alright. Now, and here the story is, so let's suppose, okay, so this three bond has the same yield weight. Okay, so we mean that I'm considering the case number 1. Okay, now and here you are also given that, so the modified duration of the portfolio today is 70.5 years. Okay, then what I want you to estimate is, so what will be the modified duration of the bond C? Okay, now and here in order to get this, then of course you try to obtain the equation, useful equation to find the modified duration of the bond C. Okay, and then remember the modified duration of the portfolio when you have the same yield weight. So actually it's just equal to what? The weighted average of the modified duration of the individual of the individual bond. Okay, so here then this is what you get. Okay, so this is the modified duration of the portfolio. Okay, and this is what the weighted average of the modified duration of the individual bond. Okay, and remember the weight will be what? Equal to the bond value divided by the total portfolio value. Okay, so which is what? The sum of this value of this free bond. Okay, now and here, so given the data that you get, okay, so you can get this formula immediately. Okay, now and here our goal is we try to solve from this equation for this modified duration of the bond C. Okay, now apparently it looks like that, so you have so many unknowns, right? Okay, so you also have S and Y, but luckily here after some algebra, so we realize that, so actually this S and Y can be cancelled out eventually. Okay, so like here after some algebra, so this term can be converted into this, and then here this S plus Y divided by 2S plus 2Y is just equal to 1/2. Okay, so here then given this, then you will only have the single equation involving the unknown modified duration of C. Then solving it, then you will find that for bond C, the modified duration will be 15. Okay, so here, okay, then this is just one quick example about the duration of the portfolio of bond. Okay, so here then basically then we have finished the whole discussion on this interest rate sensitivity. Okay, so starting from the single asset, okay, which the value is driven by a single yield rate, then we try to measure the bond pricing with respect to the yield rate using the duration and the complexity. And then after that, so we also study the scenario that you have the portfolio of several bonds. Okay, and then here because the bond may have different yield rates, so the analysis of the duration and the complexity of the portfolio will be complicated. And here we find that, so if the yield rates are identical, okay, or maybe you have the parallel shift, okay, then actually we find that, so the duration and the complexity of the portfolio is just the weighted average of the corresponding durations and the complexity of those n bonds. Okay, so here, okay, then this is what this interest rate sensitivity is about. Okay, of course, just one more remark. Okay, it's about the application of this interest rate sensitivity. Okay, of course, here in this course, okay, so we just focus on the application on how do we estimate the bond price change with respect to use this duration and the complexity to investigate the bond price change with respect to the yield rate. Okay, but I would say actually this duration and the complexity has a wider application, especially in some contexts. So when you want to do the investment, then of course you may have a lot of bonds that are available, right? Bond A, bond 1, bond 2, bond 3, bond N available. Okay, then of course here depending on your investment need, then you try to choose the suitable bond for your investment. Okay, then the question here is, then which bond should you choose? Okay, which bond will try to can really secure your profit? Okay, so here in order to choose this best bond portfolio, so again, that will be the pace that you will use this duration and complexity. Okay, now but at this point, so we will not talk about that in this course. And if you want to know that, so you can try to study the math 4512. Okay, so which I will offer it in the coming semester. Okay, so if you are interested, okay, so you can join this course, okay, and know more application about this two concept. Okay, so I guess then that's all about this topic 6, okay, and which is all about what I want to say about these courses. Okay, so just have a very quick wrap up. So basically in this course, so we just try to tell you different aspects about the interest rate. Okay, starting from the basic definition, and then different quotation of the interest rate, and then we move on to how do we apply the interest rate to find the value of some future cash flow, like the present value, future value, stuff like that. Okay, and then we also study how do we apply this concept to study various financial problems, like the non-repayment in topic 3, and then bond pricing in topic 4, investigating the rates of return of the investment, which is in topic 5, and also study this kind of interest rate sensitivity, okay, which is in topic 6. Okay, so I guess hopefully after taking this course, so you have some rough picture about what the interest rate is about and its application in the finance. Of course, if you are interested in knowing more about the application of the interest rate, so you can consider to take some advanced courses, okay, such as the fixed income security like 4511, or maybe the portfolio management course like in 4512. Okay, so this will give you a more picture about that. Okay, so I guess then that's all I want to say about this 2511. Okay, so here I will just take an opportunity to say a thank you for joining our courses, and hopefully you can learn something from these courses. So although I guess we cannot see each other again in this semester because of the current situation, okay, but I really hope that, okay, so I can see you guys again, okay, in the next semester. And then in next semester, so I'm going to offer a couple of courses in financial mathematics, like the 4512, what related to the portfolio management, 4513, which is about the life insurance, and then 4514, which is about the derivative pricing. Okay, and we also have 4428. Okay, but this is something not relevant to you guys. Okay, now, and of course if you are interested in knowing more about the financial mathematics, so just feel free to take those courses, but just let me give a warning about that. So those 3 courses are very challenging. So if you think that 2511 is already very difficult, so I guess you have to think seriously, okay, before you take those 3 advanced courses. Anyway, okay, so thanks again, okay, for joining us, okay, and hopefully you enjoy this course. So thank you.